Hello and welcome to 5 lessons of literacy this week. Now you might not get them all done, don't worry about that, but we wanted to share with you what we're doing in school. Now hopefully you haven't watched the story yet. We're trying to keep that a little secret because our first 2 lessons are ones you're going to have to think about without knowing what the story is. Now this video is a little bit different to our last ones. We put all 5 lessons in one video, so you'll need to skip forward to the times where each lesson starts, and I'll put those in the description below this video. It just saves a little bit of time when we upload it onto the internet. So there are 5 lessons. You can skip forward to the ones that you want to do and go back and have a look at the ones if you need to watch them again. So we're going to start with lesson 1. Okay then, so lesson 1 is about you using your imagination, doing a little bit of detective work, a little bit of inference and deduction to draw a picture. And I'm going to give you a sentence, the opening sentence from our story. And that sentence is this. It says, Noy lived with his dad and 6 cats by the sea. Noy lived with his dad and 6 cats by the sea. What we'd like you to do for the first lesson is we'd like you to draw what you think that looks like. Have a think about the sentence. Noy. Think, who's Noy? Is it a boy or is it a girl? Well, listen to the rest of the sentence. Noy lived with his dad and 6 cats by the sea. Who are you going to put into that picture? Noy, his dad, and of course, 6 cats. Where do they live? By the sea. And what kind of house do they live in? Do they live in a house? Do they live in a boat? So have a think about that. Noy lived with his dad and 6 cats by the sea, and draw a picture of what that looks like on a piece of plain paper. You can annotate it, that means to label it with the different things you have found, like the house or where they live, and the different characters, Noy, dad, 6 cats, and anything else. We'd love to see those, so send us an email, year2@hamiltonacademy.org.uk. So lesson 1, a picture of that opening sentence. Lesson 2. Now for this lesson you'll need the resources that we've put on the school website. Now on there you will find some pictures from the story that look like this. Now so far hopefully you haven't read the story, so you don't know what's going to happen. But we'd like you to use these pictures to write some sentences thinking what might the story be about. Make some predictions about what you think is going to happen in the story. Now these pictures might not be in order, so it doesn't matter which ones you choose. You don't have to do them all. You could do 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 of them if you like. But I'd like you to write some sentences predicting what you think the story might be about. And I've got some sentence openers you could use to help you. So perhaps you might write a sentence that says, I think that, stick another picture in, it looks like, another sentence could say, perhaps, another sentence, maybe, and a final sentence could be, I wonder if. So what I'd like you to do is to write some sentences to go with these pictures. Now if you can't print them out and stick them in, then you can just have a look at them on the computer and choose some. But I'd love to see some sentences with some predictions about what you think the story will be about, using these to help you. On to lesson 3. So if you haven't listened to the story by now, you need to go and have a listen to the story on YouTube that we've recorded for you. And you can listen to the whole of the Storm Whale in all its glory. So lesson 3, there is another resource on the school website that we've put you. It's a little spot the difference activity between the beginning and the end of the story. Now, if you have a look closely at the beginning of the story, you'll see Noy there on his own, and his dad's going out to work, and actually he doesn't look like a very happy figure in there. But if we go to the end of the story, you can see now that Noy and his dad are doing a lot more things together, and actually there are some big differences between the first and the second picture, between the start and the end of the story. So what we'd like you to do, there's 2 options for this one. Number 1 is you could print out this from the school website, and you could circle the differences. You could have a look and spot the differences between them. But what we'd really like you to do is to try and write some sentences comparing the beginning and the end of the story. What's changed for Noi and his father and his dad? And the conjunction we'd really like you to use is but. That's a really good one to use in these sentences. So for instance, you could say, in the first picture, or at the start of the story, Noi is eating food on his own. But in the second picture, or at the end of the story, he's now working with his dad. So what I'd like you to do is to have a think about the beginning and the end of the story. There's lots of things that have changed for them. They've gone for a bit of an adventure with that storm whale. So have a think about how things have changed, what differences you can spot, and also maybe think about why they are different. See if you can put a because in there as well. Remember, this is your target word for the day. See if you can use this correctly in any sentences that you do. Lesson 4 on the storm whale. That's a nice one, this one, because we'd like you to have a think about this part of the story. Noi has got the whale home. He's got the whale home, and he did everything he could to make the whale feel at home. He told stories about life on the island, and the whale was an excellent listener. Now, if you look closely at this picture, you can see some of the things Noi did to make the whale feel happy and comfortable. Looks like he's bought him tea and biscuits. He's been playing sounds of the sea, and he's obviously put him in the bath where it's nice and wet for him. So what we'd like you to do is we would like you to write some sentences and perhaps draw some pictures to go with it of the things that make you feel happy. What makes you feel at home, comfortable? What gives you that warm feeling inside? And you can use a simple sentence starter. I am happy when. So I might say, well, I am happy when I'm out playing in the garden. Lovely. You could give a bit more information than that, though, couldn't you? You could use a conjunction like because to explain why. Why does that make you feel really nice inside? And it might not be something like that. It might not be playing with your toys. It might be something you get to do with your parents or grandparents or other people around you, especially now when you might not be able to see your friends. What is it that's making you feel really nice and warm inside? You could ask some people in your family as well how they feel, and perhaps write some sentences and draw some pictures about them. I have put the word happy with a line through it here, because happy is a bit of a boring word. So perhaps you might try and use some better adjectives, some synonyms for the word happy. They're a little bit more interesting. So, lesson 5. Now, one of the reasons the teachers, and myself especially, really love this book is because it's filled with some fantastic vocabulary and some beautiful sentence openers. And we want to give you a chance to use some of those sentence openers yourself. Now, I've gone through the story and I've picked out some of our favourites. And what I'd like you to do is I'd like you to write some sentences of your own using these as inspiration. Now, they don't have to be about the storm whale. If you're stuck, you could write about the storm whale using these sentences, but trying to change them a little bit so that they don't sound exactly the same as the book. Or you can use these in a new context and write about something totally different. So we've got a few on here. We've got every day, one night, in the morning, as he walked, as he got closer, he knew the night was drawing in. Somehow, he even managed. Noi often thought. He hoped that. These are really lovely sentence openers, and it's a really nice way to get some variety into the way people start their sentences. So you can use some of those to help you write some sentences of your own. And they don't have to be about the storm whale. They can be about something totally different. So hopefully these lessons have all been useful to you. I'm sorry if you've had to jump around a little bit to see where they start. And don't worry if you don't do them all. There's 5 in here and we'd normally only do 3. But we wanted to share with you. You have a little bit of choice and see the same things as we're doing at school. So have a lovely week, everybody, and please remember to share anything with us, year2@hamiltonacademy.org.uk. Bye for now.